Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard, and it comes in 1/48 scale, so it's a dual combo limited edition which is named as a Midway. And as you can notice on the box art, we have here two Wildcats in 1/48 scale. Both are quite fresh release from Eduard, and now they are coming combined in one box. And we have a commercial sample here, of course, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. And in my opinion, this is a quite interesting release for those who would like to copy the famous US fighter, and we will check what is actually included here. So first of all, box size is standard for this brand. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Also on the side here you'll find 6 marking options, so basically you can copy no, not only 6, we have also 4 here, so 10 in total, and you can copy 2 out of those. And also on the sides we have kit number, so it's 11166. Box is with the top loading, and we have here 2 kits as I said before, so it's F4 F3 and F4 F4 in 1/48 scale. Both are complete in U2 release. We also have here markings for aircraft from December 1940 to June 1942. And of course we have all the necessary bonuses here. Actually it's written here that there are 12 marking options, so I guess there are more than what we saw on the box, and we will see it when we will be talking about assembly manual. So here you can see the packaging style. Everything is separated into several plastic bags, so you shouldn't be worried that something will arrive damaged to you. It should be pretty much intact, even though there is not that much of space, to be honest, but still it looks fine to me. So, some of these sprues, because it's basically the same aircraft, just different versions, some of the sprues will be the same, that's why I will be showing it only once, so that you won't be confused why we do not get another sprue of the same type. And for example, here we are going to start with a clear frame, which was packed into a transparent Ziploc bag. And if I zoom here, you can see that we have canopy parts. They look quite nice, and if I move them like this, you can see that molding quality is really good. There is nothing to complain about here. It's really, I would say, a good sign of the Eduard quality, and it should be easy to combine all this stuff together. Maybe I'll close the lenses so that it will be not that bright for you. And of course we can copy the open cockpit here. We have masks included because this is a limited edition, so that's why it should be easy to get a nice paint finish on your model, and you won't have to spend time trying to cut all the tiny stickers. Next, I'm opening the second plastic bag, which is actually dedicated to fuselage house, and here we have pretty much the same situation because this house are more or less identical for both versions, so I will show you only one. And here we have fuselage house. Both are molded together with tail fins. We have, I would say, pretty much standard external features. It means recessed panel lines and rivets. And if I zoom in even closer, here you can take a bit zoomed in view at the fuselage panels. In my opinion, this is a really nice engineering. It shows what can be achieved with modern technologies. And note that all attachment points are quite thin. We also have here all the necessary installation slots, for example, for the wings. As you can see, there are tabs which will help you with the proper position. Next, if I flip it over, inside you will find guiding elements as well, so it's really handy, especially in a 1/48 scale where a cockpit will be huge, and maybe you would be planning to install original resin accessories. Then it will be even more handy because it will help you with overall alignment. And believe me, with resin parts, sometimes it's really important and crucial, and in some moments it can be really helpful. So next I'm opening another plastic bag, as you can hear, and here I can see that we have first differences. So for example, wing parts are different, and I'm trying to find the main difference here. As far as I remember, it was top panels, but who knows, maybe there are also some additional differences. So here you can see parts for the F4, F3, and maybe I'll zoom in even closer so that you can see it in a bit more detail. So we have flaps pre-molded. If you would like to drop them, you will have to get the separate P set from Eduard, and it was reviewed, as far as I remember, by us as well, so you can find it in our YouTube channel. External features, they look pretty much standard. So if I zoom in here, you can see that we have nice recessed panel lines and rivets. All of this stuff looks great, but be sure not to overdo the paint and primer layers. As I'm always saying, it's easy to lose all these details under a thick layer, and then it will be really tricky to get them back. And just to show you the difference between F4, F3 and F4, F4, here we have the F4 version. So as you can see, the panel placement is slightly different from what we have in F3 version, but again, it's pretty much the same quality. So if I zoom out, you can see a bit more, and I don't think you'll have any issues. Here inside you can see that we have guiding elements and all the position tabs, which will help you with alignment of the internal bits which will be installed in the wings. Okay, so these are the wing parts. Now I'm interested in the sprue which is dedicated to the internal components. It means to the landing gear bay and engine bay. It looks like they are completely similar. We also have some cockpit parts here. So first of all, I will give you an overall look. Here you can check them out. So in my opinion, they look really great. And it's just a matter of careful assembly. Of course, you have to be extra careful and use the right tools with the thin parts, because it might be tricky to separate them. And if I zoom in here as close as we can, so you can see that overall design is, I would say, standard for Eduard recent kits. And this is actually a good thing, because it will be easy to align all these parts together. Usually they have quite interesting engineering, which, let's say, self-aligns when you're building it. And it's a really great experience in my opinion, so I recommend to try it. Here you can see also some of the cockpit parts. For example, here we have the side panels, we have also landing gear wheels. Of course, you can replace the landing gear wheels with original resin accessories, but it will require some additional investment. So if you're ready to spend a bit more on your 1/48 scale Wildcat, then why not? It might be a really great opportunity to add more features. And the same can be said about the cockpit. So as you remember, we have the resin cockpit available for this model, so it's just a matter of spending extra money again. And next, I'm opening one more plastic bag. So here we have again identical plastic sprues, so I will show you only one of each type. For example, this is the Sprue M. And here, as you can see, we have several types of the cooling panels. We also have propeller, we have engine parts. And I have to note that engine is surprisingly detailed here, even though some people were complaining about recent releases from Eduard that they had the simple tabs for the engine. Here we have a fully detailed power plant, and in my opinion it might be a wise idea to expose it somehow on the model, because it will look nice even in the standard out-of-the-box version. So here you can take a closer look, and next we continue with more parts for the engine and the cockpit. And by the way, of course, if you would like to have even more in the bonnet area, I mean the engine and also some internal components, you can get the Bryson set, but it will cost extra. And it will also require certain skills, because otherwise you will have a fun time with all this stuff, especially considering the size of some parts. It's definitely a thing for more experienced modelers, not for beginners who are not sure in their skills. Next we continue with another pair of sprues. So this is a Sprue M. And here we have parts for the tail surfaces. We also have more parts for the engine bay, and that's what I was talking about. As you can see, there are a lot of things to be installed on the power plant, and first time I was really surprised to see such thing included out of the box. And if I flip it over, here inside you can see that these tail wings, they actually have the guiding elements, and it will be easy to align everything together. Next, I'm taking out all the bonuses for this model. So as you remember, we in limited editions we get the PE frets, we get masks, and I would like to start with PE frets, because here we get pre-painted PE frets, and they are actually different for each aircraft version. So I will place them here. Let's zoom in, maybe place them like that. And maybe also close the lenses. So these are typical pre-painted PE parts from Eduard. They should go both inside and outside of your aircraft. But believe me, this is something what is worth installing on your model, and it will look nice once you get it on your F4. And of course we have glazing on dials, which imitates glass on the real instrument panel, so that's also a really nice touch, which is visible on 148 scale models, even though some modelers say that it's not that serious thing. Believe me, it is noticeable on the finished model as well, especially if you open the canopy and expose the instrument panel. Next, I'm opening another plastic bag, so here we have mask sheet, and I will try to take it out as fast as I can. It's a bit tricky because these masks are flexible, so they are stubborn in the Ziploc bag. But here we have pre-cut masks, and they are designed not only for the canopy but also for landing gear wheels, so it means that you have a nice paint finish on both elements, clear parts and also on the landing gear wheels. Next, separate plastic bag is dedicated to decal sheet, so I'm opening it right now. Actually, there are two of them. Both are printed in Eduard, so just give me a second to take them out. They're really large, but let's not forget that manufacturer promised that we have here 12 marking options in total. So this is a really impressive amount. I would like to start with the small decal sheet, so here it is. Let's zoom out a bit and close the lenses. Okay, so now you should be able to see what I'm talking about. And all these decals look good. As you can notice, we also have the cockpit decals. It means this for these dials for the instrument panels. We do not have any seat belts, unfortunately. So if you would like to have them, you have to use P parts, and there is no way around this. Or maybe you can get the look set. As far as I remember, there we have actually the decals. And one more decal sheet, so this one is a bit bigger, and again here we have various stars. Of course, these red and white stripes, you can replicate them actually with masks if you are brave enough, but even these decals should look good as long as you carefully apply them on your aircraft, and believe me, in 148 scale it's more or less okay. Next we continue with assembly manual. So assembly manual is also traditional for Eduard. It's a large color printed brochure, so here I will have to zoom out in order to fit it into the full frame. So as you can see, we have cover exactly the same as the box art. Inside you'll find a short history note about the conflict and how Wildcat was used in the Midway theater. Next we continue with the parts map. So assembly process starts with F4, F3, and you should be, let's say, noting this down because it will also influence the marking options choice and of course the parts choice as well. So that's why it will be important to pick the right things for your particular version. As you can see, some plastic parts will have to be modified in order to house the P parts, but it's up to you whether you would like to go this way. Some of the markings also require modification of the original plastic. And here you can see the engine assembly, so it gets installed onto the fuselage, and as I said, it might be a wise idea to think through how to expose this engine. Next we continue with the tail wings. Here we start working on the landing gear system, which is quite complex on this aircraft, so that's why I checked the alignment, even though Eduard claims that they made the special design which self-aligns and you do not have to worry about it. Next we continue with the landing gear wheels. Here I can see propeller and canopy. Of course, in this stage you will have to decide whether you would like to have open or closed canopy. And then we start assembly of the F4, so it's basically the same things except of some minor steps and of course wing parts, which will be different in comparison with the F3 version. We have also masks application guide. As I said, we will have to use it also for the landing gear wheels, and I can see that liquid masks will be used for some of the areas on the canopy. Next we continue with the last steps here for the F4, and the first marking option comes in a really bright color. which is quite interesting marking. Next we continue with the classic camouflages. I would say that's a traditional thing which you will expect from the F4, F3 or F4 Wildcat. And as you can see, there is also a huge I would say history notes applied to each of these markings, so it will be really interesting to read it through, because maybe you like the back history and you would want to copy this particular aircraft. So as you remember, we have 12 marking options in total, and this kit should be already available. You can get it on official Eduard website. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and